Cheers, everybody. Welcome back to another one. And today we are going to be talking about focusing on yourself. I think, and we've spoken about this in videos recently, the biggest trap we fall into is comparing ourselves. Always, constantly. And I think it's gotten even worse if you look at mental health, the fixation on what other people are doing with social media. It's all been exacerbated, but the more that we put our attention, put our focus on other people's lives, what they're up to, what's going on in this situation or this scenario, the less that we have energy inside of ourselves for ourselves. And from an energetic standpoint, the more that our energy is hooked in with other people, the less authentic that we actually are. I mentioned in a recent video, a lot of the thoughts that we pick up on thoughts, right? And a lot of our thoughts, we are not our thoughts. Our thoughts are simply entering, and they may be somebody else's. They may be just energetically these pendulums, these egregores that pick up all this speed, they pick up all this momentum because so many people are thinking about this thing or that thing. We begin to pick up on it too. And the best way that you can do for yourself, that you can begin to be the person that you want to be, is by bringing your energy back inside of you. Again, if we look at it from an energetic standpoint, the more that we are focused on other people, the more that we tend to do things for, okay, well, I'm going to do this because this person expects this of me. I'm going to do this because I know that this is what this person likes, so I'm going to do this so that I can get their approval. Or I'm going to not do this because I'm worried about what this person might say, right? The more that we are focused on other people, and it's not to say that we just want to withdraw into a cave and never interact with anybody else or anything, but it's always a balance, right? And I think that most of us get so caught up with the opinions of others, with what's going on with other people's lives, whether it be in the form of gossip, whether it be in just watching, social media. We're like a consumer. We become a consumer of other people's lives instead of being a producer of our own lives, becoming a creator. You could look at this from an artistic standpoint as a creative person. If you want to be an artist, but all you ever do is consume other people's content or whatever, it's fine that it can inspire us. But to a certain point, we have to begin to put the pen down to the paper. Or when it comes to being the author of our own story, we have to begin to write our own lives. We have to begin to take back control over the script, over the narrative, and direct ourselves, begin to lead ourselves. Because if we are not leading ourselves, we are being led by what everyone else is doing, what everyone else is thinking, what everyone else is saying. And if we're not careful, there's that old kind of aphorism or that saying about following everybody and then you all go off a bridge, like the sheep, right? The sheep will go to the slaughter, right? Just by doing what everybody else is doing, because we're constantly so focused on outside of ourselves that we don't have our own energy. We're not protecting our own energy anymore. Our energy is so dispersed that we have no personal power. I've talked a lot about like the victim mindset and how that gets rid of our personal power. Another thing that goes hand in hand with that is like the victim mindset is viewing yourself in relation to all these other people, like by comparison. But just preoccupied focus on other people, you don't have the bandwidth to focus on yourself and what you're creating in your life, because your focus is so dispersed with all this stuff that is actually really not going to, in any direct way, help you, bring you more peace, bring you more happiness, fulfill you. And as paradoxical as this is, we've achieved so much through technology. You know, even people that are relatively poor by today's standards have access to things that in the past even the kings and royalty didn't have, right? For the most part, if you're living in a first world country, you have access to running water, you have access to electricity. If you're watching this right now, you have access to the internet. And the ironic thing about this is that because of comparison, we are less happy now, it seems, than our predecessors, our ancestors were when they didn't have access to any of these things. And it comes back to that comparison, that being the thief of joy. So the more that you are preoccupied with everything going on outside of you, the more that you are entering into voluntarily that victim mindset, because you're saying, oh, well, it's all of these external things. The more that you focus on the external world, the more that you see yourself as powerless. The more that you focus on yourself, on what you're doing in your life, on what you're creating in your life, the more that you begin to see yourself as having the power to change your life, as being somebody that is actually able and capable of creating more happiness for yourself, creating becoming more resourceful, creating more opportunities for yourself, right? So this video is really just kind of like a check-in, and the more that you realize this, and the more that you have some time for stillness, the more that you have some time to kind of go within, do some meditation, listen to some meditation music, and focus your thoughts, kind of still the mind, still the monkey mind, and begin to color and paint in your mind's eye situations and circumstances which you would like to bring about for yourself, and do it for the fun of it. Don't do it because and put all this pressure on yourself like, oh, I need to do this visualization, or I need to do this affirming, or whatever it is, to get this result like really quickly, because that's putting pressure on yourself, and you're again coming at it from this state of lack then, which is actually going to be counterproductive. And again, really, you could argue that by doing that, like, you know, you're doing it because you feel the sense of urgency that it needs to happen now, the sense of desperation, because you're looking at something else. You're looking at your energy is again dispersed. And you're saying, oh, well, I need to do this by this time and time, because if I don't, then I won't be able to blah, blah, blah. And a lot of the times, yeah, that can come from multiple different fears. There's a lot of human fears that we have. But it can also come from that, oh, well, I'm not at this point in my life yet when I thought I should be. I should have been here by now. Look at those people, right? So again, come back into yourself. Put your focus on yourself. And that's how you're going to be able to level up. It's not going to be by constantly, using a measuring stick up against all the other people that are around you in your environment, or on TV, or on social media. It's going to come from you doing and embodying what it is that version of yourself that you decide that you want to come into alignment with. And by acting and being that person, stop focusing on the having so much, focusing on the being and the doing, and you will eventually have. The more process oriented you become, the more likely, the more immersed, the more in the flow that you get by looking at all the external stuff and all the trappings of success, and trying to get this tangible goal, or this award, or this certain amount of money, or this certain thing of status that we all want, and that's fine. But the more that you are caught up looking at that, rather than being immersed in the flow, immersed in the process of the person that you are, that could eventually get you to where you want to be. And it could be anything. It could be having a family. It could be buying a house. It could be getting that car that you've been wanting. It could be becoming famous. But the more that you are focused on any of those outcomes, the less that you are in the flow and actually being present to the moment, which is where you're going to do your best work, which is where you're going to be able to get the house, or the relationship, or the fame, or the money, or whatever it is that you're looking for. You got to get back into yourself and really just honor yourself for the unique individual that you are, And that's when you can rise and become like jump ahead of everybody else, because now you're honoring your individual uniqueness instead of comparing, because there will always be somebody that is better than you in some certain regard. They might be taller than you. They might be more, they might have a better physique than you do. Whatever, by whatever metric you're measuring, they might they might have had more opportunities, right? But the thing is, nobody can compete with you, because you are a one of one. You're one of a kind. And when you lean into your strengths, when you lean into the individual that you are and your unique characteristics, that's when you realize nobody can compete with you. And really, you jumping into that fulfilled ultimate version of yourself, that best version of yourself, it's going to, resonate with people, because there simply is no other version of you. There simply is nobody else like you that has your own experiences, that looks like you, that behaves like you, your same mannerisms, your same way of conveying your ideas. Nobody else can do that in the way that you do it. So coming into this, it's about letting go of that. And instead of the comparison and always judging and looking at the outside, it's like, okay, what am I doing? How have I progressed? How have I gotten a little bit better than I was yesterday? If I'm getting 1% better all the time, or each and every year I'm learning this and I'm doing this and I'm studying this and I'm researching on this stuff, and now I'm taking action with this, and I've become more resilient, I've become more powerful, I've become more capable. That is how you are going to achieve success. And I want that for you. I want you to be able to feel that. I want you to be able to focus on yourself, because by focusing constantly on other people, you're not going to be able to actualize. The people that are able to actualize are focused on themselves, what they've got going on. And yeah, you can take a look and see what other people are up to, but the more focus that you put there, the less energy that you have for yourself. And again, if you really want to be somebody who is unlocking your potential and just creating something that is unique, and leaning into your strengths and leaning into your power, you're going to arrive there by this practice. I could talk about this on and on, but when you are comparing, when you are in an energetic level, you are now bound, your energy is now bound up with all of these other people that is only going to slow you down. Of course, you need interdependence. Let's say you're working on something and you're working with somebody to create something. That's a different thing. But if you're looking and needing all these approval from everybody else, that's going to bog you down, because it's going to make you fearful. It's going to make you anxious. It's going to make you afraid. Oh, what if I do this? And X person, I don't know if they would agree with this. I don't know if this friend would think this is cool. And you're limiting yourself. So that being said, guys, much love as always. Drop this video with a like. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you guys have been taking some time and going within, I can also do a video about how to go within, how to kind of really get into a state where you're not as thrown off. There's certain visualization practices, meditation practices, and I can cover some of those. So let me know if you'd be interested in that as well, to kind of protect your energy. Because really that's a big fundamental piece of this, is how are you protecting your energy? There's different visualization methods you can do for this, and affirmations. There's all kinds of techniques. But when you are able to do that, and you're able to keep your energy within yourself, rather than allowing it to be flowing out, and you notice, certain people drain your energy. There's certain people that you get around, people call them energy vampires or whatever. The more that you become aware of this, and you feel that, you can feel after you've left somebody's presence, do you feel energized or do you feel depleted? And the more that you begin to honor that, the more that you begin to protect it, the better off you're going to be. So that being said, like I said, hit this with a like, hit me with a subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.